All right, Devin, that brings us to Crowdfunding Corner for the week of November 15th. This video might go up on the 16th just due to timing here, but we've got 7 games that I thought looked really good. This is a killer week, in my opinion. There are so many games in crowdfunding, I can't cover all of them, but these ones looked really cool. We usually cover games that end, whose campaigns end in like the next 2 weeks. And a couple of these were cutting it really close. This first one had kind of a shorter campaign, which made it a little trickier. But Devin, this is a Dice Throne campaign, which is
oh yeah, I didn't even
exciting.
notice. I should have.
That's all right. This is Dice Throne Outcasts is what it's called. It has 4 new characters, and then it also has an expansion for Dice Throne Adventures, which is kind of the dungeon crawling mode of Dice Throne, excuse me. And it seems like this is with characters that are kind of in the Creative Commons, so they're not having to pay like licensing fees to Marvel and stuff, because a lot of their recent content is Marvel and X-Men and stuff, so they'll probably make quite a bit more money, or a higher percentage on this, because they don't have to share money with Marvel. So, and I do like their own like original characters. I think are really cool. These 4 are, I think, meant to be like a little more advanced, but I think they do have like a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 6 in the 1 to 6 difficulty range. Anyway, so let's scroll down here and look at some of these characters. Again, just awesome art by Manny Tremblay, and the 4 characters are the Pale Lady, the Headless Horseman, Raveness, and the Necromancer. So there is a little bit more information on each of them here. Where is it? Here. And then for Dice Throne Adventures, it's the Unchained expansion, has a new boss battle, and then I think 3 of these, one-shot maps, which is meant to make Dice Throne Adventures a bit of a shorter experience instead of a big scenario to get through the dungeon and then a second separate big scenario to defeat the boss. This is a one-shot map, so it's you fight some minions on your way to the boss and then fight the boss. Very much inspired by Dice Throne Marvel Missions, I think is what it's called, which should be delivering to me in the next month or so, which I think we'll play and will be very fun. It's very similar, but one-shot maps where you fight some minions and then fight a Marvel villain on the back, and I think it comes with 20 different scenarios. So anyways, little mini expansion, all fits in the Dice Throne Adventures box. But I think the big thing here for most people is the 4 new characters. And then we'll talk about the strong box. But first up is the Pale Lady. She kind of has a unique mechanism that they had in one of their season 2 characters, the pirate character. I can't remember, the cursed pirate, I think, because she could become cursed on the other side. The Pale Lady transforms into a werewolf at certain points, and her board flips over to the werewolf side. Very, very cool. Again, love the artwork. The, let's see, I feel like she had a unique piece here, but maybe not. I think it's just the board mostly. She is a 3 out of 6. Then the Raveness, she doesn't have a double-sided board, but she does have a completely separate dial called the Vitality Dial. Not 100% sure what that does, but it must be used in some way for this cool raven. I never know. What's the difference between a crow and a raven? Have any idea?
No, they just gave it 2 names. I honestly have no idea.
Since she's called the Raveness, I'm going to assume that's a raven. But who knows? All right. Next up is the Headless Horseman. Very cool looking dude.
Awesome.
He doesn't have a unique piece, but looks pretty cool. He's at level 4. Yeah, really like that Headless Horseman art there. And last up is the Necromancer. He is a 6. He comes with 5 different standees, like zombies and skeleton dudes that you can summon, and you'll have a dial for that corpse that you have summoned. And so he becomes a little more complex in that way. It looks like he has a... Oh, that's just the same side of a board, actually. So he is the most complex. Again, very cool. These 4 new characters come in what they're calling the new Strongbox. Let me see if I think the Strongbox was detailed up here. Where do they detail it actually?
Which means the box is harder.
The box is different. So if you can see behind me, maybe, well, I could pull this out. Okay, let's go. This is one of their battle chests from their earlier campaigns. That should be, I think, in the window there. It's big. It has 8 characters in it and is very tall and takes up like half of a Calyx shelf. This Strongbox only has 4 characters in it, so it's a different shape, different size, and they've added this cool feature, and they call it a Strongbox because of this feature that it's meant to be like pretty durable. But the cover around the top comes off instead of being like a slip down cover like most board games have. Oh, here it is. The 4-hero Strongbox. And it has these little like locking magnet mechanisms that slot in holes on both sides. And they had a video where they actually showed someone lifting it from the top, and it seems pretty dang strong. So the cool thing there is 4 of them can fit in a Calyx, kind of like that, with the characters already displayed on the side.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Which is very cool looking. So new box. They said they're going to try and use this Strongbox on all of their campaigns going forward. And I think those characters look really cool.
I like the pale lady a lot.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like I need her werewolf form. I just think she'd just be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They have a bunch of add-ons. You can get like the sculpts or these pre-painted miniatures for the adventure mode. Acrylic tokens, which would be really cool. I just don't have acrylic tokens for any of the other characters. I probably won't get those. Neoprene playmats. They have those for all the characters as well as all of the characters in the other versions. So yeah, lots of stuff there. I'm pretty interested in the 4 new characters. I thought Dice Throne Adventures was fun. Played it probably 10 times, but I did think each scenario was a little long. So I got rid of that one, and I'm very much looking forward to Dice Throne Marvel Missions because those are meant to be shorter. So that one ends on, if I can scroll back up, November 18th. So you've only got 3 more days for that one, and probably 2 days by the time you see this. But that's Dice Throne Outcasts. Next up is a crowdfunding campaign from Bitewing Games here in Utah. And this is a trilogy of games from the good doctor
Reiner Knizia.
He can't be escaped, Devin. He's on like every episode. And these are 3 bigger games. He's made like 800 games at this point, and he makes all kinds of games, small card games, auctioning games. These are 3 somewhat bigger games. I don't really know how to explain that, but when someone says it's a bigger box Knizia game, that is a thing for some reason. They all have this sci-fi artwork. They're calling it like a sci-fi trilogy. And I think a cool thing they did here is they chose 3 different artists. One of them is Kwanchai Moria. One of them is Vincent Dutray. And the third one, we'll have to find the name as we go down because I can't remember. I think it's a woman's name. Cool thing about this campaign, and also all plays campaigns, $4 shipping in the US, even if you get all 3 games. Just crazy. Because most campaigns are like, we'll get to one later in the episode that's like, man, shipping is expensive. I get it, but when they're able to subsidize it in some way, that pill goes down easier. All right, the 3 games are SILOS. In this one, you play as aliens. You're trying to abduct people and cows. Has this cool piece here. You're going to send your aliens down to the board. They're like alien imposters, kind of like the dude in Men in Black. And whoever has the most aliens in a certain spot gets to abduct the cow, who is a wild kind of meeple. And whoever has the second most, so it's area majority game, will get the person. And then when you get a set of all 4 types of people, the cow, again, counting as wild for any of those, then you get this like alien token, and if you get 5 of them, you win. And that tractor beam is going to move around the board, so each area will be kind of assessed at different points. Looks pretty fun. I like the artwork. It says, I think it said the time frame here. Maybe you didn't. I'm pretty sure. Oh, right here. Let's go down to SILOS. It is 2 to 4 players, 40 to 60 minutes. Supposed to be pretty good. Got some good preview content. I really do like Space Biff. He does a great job. So a good resounding review from him is a good thing in my opinion. Next up is one called Ego. And this one is very odd, but not odd in a bad way. I think it seems pretty fun. You have like this ship is going to move along these 5 boards. It will always start on the same board and end on the same board, but the 3 boards in between will be in a different order and are double-sided and can be on either side. And the ship will move along kind of like a comic book panel to these different event sections, and then something will trigger there that will let you convert like one resource into another, get rid of these, what do they call them, like error tokens, or earn some points, and eventually, or draw some cards. And cards are really important during the auctions. Each of these boards has this circular auction event that takes place. And during those auctions, I thought they sounded very unique. If you win the auction, then you get first pick out of those 5 or 6 pie slices of that wheel. So you get to pick whatever you want. And then it goes to second place, third, fourth, fifth. And those are determined by when someone elects to pass or drop out of the auction. So if you start the auction and are the first person to pass, then you take the number 5, and you'll get the last worst option generally. But every time you continue in the auction, you have to burn cards to do so. So you really have to decide in your mind, am I going to double down and really try to win? Because you either want to be like first or pass so early that you didn't have to waste any of your cards, because they're a very precious resource in this game. Cool idea for an auction. Dr. Knizia does a lot of auction games. And that one I feel like seemed pretty unique in that way, where, I mean, that it's not incredibly unique, but I liked how that sounded at least. So that one is Ego. All 3 of these games have a free expansion that come with them if you buy them here during the Kickstarter campaign. They also have like crazy upgraded components you can get. Like this one comes with poker chips, 163 of them for every. Well, it doesn't come with it actually. It's a $24 upgrade, but very cool. Also acrylic tokens for those offense tokens. Looks cool. Okay, last up is the simplest of the 3 games. It's kind of a fun puzzle where you are a race of alien that has this little space saucer, and you're trying to land on all the planets first and then get back to your home base. You do that by moving around this little board. Let me see if there's a bigger board piece. Oh, that one will work. When you move, you can only move a single intersection. But when the planets move, they are all in orbit. So they will move a huge distance to their next spot. And so you'll be playing cards to move planets. Sometimes you can actually turn a planet around and it'll start orbiting the other direction. And you can hitch a ride on the planet. You'll put your little spaceship meeple on top of a planet, and then when it moves, instead of you needing those 20 movement, you just kind of fly along with that. So this one's more of like a simpler game. I think the recommended age range on this one is lower. It plays in a little bit shorter time. But I thought that puzzle sounded pretty fun, actually. There are certain spots you can actually teleport from one side of the board to the other. Seems pretty cool. Just a race to be the first one to visit all the planets and then get back to your home base. I like Bitewing Games. I have a few of their games and I think they're really solid. They have somewhat of a partnership with Dr. Knizia lately. This is, I think, their 2nd or 3rd campaign of his for new games, which is kind of crazy. And again, I already talked about the shipping. I think it's very consumer friendly.
We've got to see the Knizia plushie.
Oh, did I skip past it?
It's down.
Oh, yeah. Knizia plushie. It's a Knizia alien plushie. Alien comes right out of his chest. Like that.
Crazy.
The alien plushie also comes in the bundle and save bundle. So the games are like $55, $50, and $45, something like that. $192 each separately. If you buy them in this bundle, you get them for 152, and you get an expansion for all 3 of them included. That's a pretty good deal. Still a lot, but you only have to add $4 for shipping, which is, again, kind of unheard of in this space. Or for 194, you get the expansion and the upgraded pieces for all of them, like the nice cows and the poker chips that we looked at, and the double layered boards, and the plushie of
Amazing.
Dr. Knizia with the alien chest burster right there.
I never knew what he looked like, but now I do.
Have you not seen him? Okay, there is a either picture or video of him up at the top.
If I see him, is it going to ruin my opinion of this amazing person?
I don't think so. He's pretty cool. There's since he's made like 800 games, he's kind of old at this point. He's probably 60 or something. But he's still pretty cool, and he's German, I believe. Where is he? I swear it was right up here near the top. Oh, there he is. I'm gonna quiet that video a little bit, but let me see if I can find it.
That's him, huh?
That is him, the good doctor.
Cool guy.
Wearing sci-fi clothes.
He's got jelly beans on his bow tie.
I think he's kind of known for the bow ties as well. But anyways, that's him.
Crazy.
He speaks really good English as well. It's kind of cool. So that is that one. The trilogy of Knizia games from Bitewing Games. That one ends on Wednesday, November 20th. Okay, Devin. Recently I've been talking about Yokai Septet. I think it's a really great little card game. Excellent trick-taking game. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, where the cards also have this cool Japanese art on them, and every suit has a 7 in it, and the 7 is like the card you're trying to get. That company, Ninja Star Games, I think is what they're called, is releasing a new game. It's called Pride of Ninja. And it's a drafting game for 3 to 5 people. And it seems pretty awesome. So it's drafting like 7 Wonders. You have a hand of cards. You pick one, put it in front of you, and then pass your hand. And then you have to decide if you're going to play that card to your front row, which will be face up, or your back row, which will be face down. Then after everyone has drafted all of those cards and your back rows and front rows are filled, then everyone will flip over their cards. And based on what you have drafted, different characters do different things. Like if, I'm trying to remember all of the interaction points, but there are certain cards that, like if I have 5 of them, then I have like the majority and I'm able to slay you. And if you get slain at any point in like the 6 levels of priority, then you lose all of your temporary points for the round. So you're watching what everyone else is taking too, which I think is one of the hardest parts about drafting games, is trying to remember what was in that hand of cards I just gave away.
Yeah, I can never remember that either.
And second is a lot of them feel like I'm just focused down on here on me, and I'm not worried about what any of you are doing.
Mm-hmm.
This one very much is not that, because you're looking to see, okay, they put that card face up. I know there's 5 of them in the deck. That's a ninja. If they have 2 ninjas, it's going to be something bad for me. They put a card face down in the back. What could that be? So you're very much more focused on what everyone else is doing. Plays in about half an hour. There's also a stack of like red cards that you can add in for like some extra variation. I think it looks very, very cool. Pretty simple drafting game, but cool central mechanisms. And I like it when a game can kind of take a genre and kind of distill it down to like its essence. There's a small box with cards and those slay tokens in it. And you're just drafting, but since it's just down to like the purest essence, you can really focus on it. Like, okay, I need to pay attention to what Devin's saying and whatever, instead of there being 10 other things kind of getting in the way. I think it's $22 with $6 shipping in America. Again, pretty good price. That one is exciting to me. So that one is Pride of Ninja from Ninja Star Games. And that one ends on Kickstarter on November 20th as well. So on Wednesday. Okay, Devin, in this episode, we've got 2 pretty big, heavy Euro games. And this is the first one. It's called Clandestine. I would have said Clandestine.
Same.
But I think either pronunciation is correct, but they said Clandestine in the video. So that's what I'm going to say. This one is from a company called Brookspun Games, and it's a pretty heavy Euro game, which makes it a little tricky to even describe. But one of the central mechanisms is Moncala. So I think you'll pick up all of the meeples at a certain spot and then drop them off one at a time in moving from one spot to the next. And then the spot that you last drop one off on is usually where you get to activate something when that mechanism is used. And you have like the central road where they will rotate around. But each player also has their own board that is kind of connected to that road. And if you're able to get certain pieces like right in front of your board, then you can turn them down onto your own board. You're trying to set out cards there. Your own player board is also very cool. Let me see if I can...
Little factions look cool. There was some club in the Serpent Keepers.
Yeah, I think there are 5 different factions. I wonder if they'll have an image here.
The Garden Club.
Oh yeah, they're all behind each other. Hard to see. I'm sure they'll show them here in a second. Bunch of cards, 287 cards, and 155 secret cards. This is a heavy, expensive game. Lots of pawns. I was trying to find... Maybe I already skipped it. I must have. There is this cool dial inside your player board. I think this is the game. Maybe I'm confusing it with another. Oh, it's right here. A little hard to see. Can maybe zoom in a tiny bit. No, that didn't work. Well, here as you like level up your clan, then this dial will spin inside your board, and this window will kind of show you a different level up or something. So a pretty heavy, complex Euro game, but I like the way it looks. I like the Moncala mechanism. I really like it in 5 Tribes, which is an excellent game. I haven't played Trajan, but that's another one that people that like that mechanism really enjoy, I believe. So anyways, I think that's one to keep an eye on if you like heavy, complex games. Again, it's pricey. It's $90 for the deluxe pledge. I think the, where are they? Pledge comparisons. And that is the base one. They don't have like a more simple version than that. And then you can get fancier versions with medals, coins, and sleeves and stuff. But and that's even before shipping. But looks very cool. It's got some good previews and a playthrough from the Dice Tower up already. That is Clandestine. That one ends on Thursday, the 21st. All right, next up is a bit lighter of a game. This one's called Amoebunnies.
I would say Amoebunnies.
I think it's meant to be like amoeba mixed with bunny.
Amoeba.
But you might be right. Amoebunnies. I don't know. And it says here, an adorable asymmetrical adventure. So there are a bunch of different bunnies in this game. You can play as a different one. And each of them plays a little bit differently and has a different win condition. So think Root, but much, much simpler. And the win conditions are a lot simpler as well. You're playing cards. In order to move your bunny kind of around the city, you have to play a card with a color on it matching the color of the road you're moving across. And here are the different bunnies that have different boards and different win conditions.
I do like how they're shaped differently.
Yeah, that's I do fun. Too. Yeah. And then, yeah, you're just trying to complete your objective first before the other bunnies. I like the simplicity and kind of the boldness to say we're going to make an asymmetric game, which usually means the game would be harder to teach and more complex. But the goal here was to make an asymmetric game that wasn't tricky and doesn't like add like rules and teach overhead. So seems pretty cool, fairly light, but if you like cute art or like bunnies, then this might kind of be for you. I kind of like how they looked like a squished little... They remind me of Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine for some reason. I don't know. That weird Match 3 game. But anyways, that one is Amoebunnies. Trying to see if I can find the price here. $39.99 includes the game and all stretch goals, where you can get it with an expansion for a bit more. Oh, they had a yarn bunny, but that one is sold out.
Dang it.
No more yarn bunnies. And I wonder what the shipping is like. Just curious. I didn't look down here at shipping. Where am I? I'm not far enough down. Here we go. Shipping, yeah, see, shipping's expensive.
Woo.
17, 20. Just hard. Shipping's expensive. And Amazon has spoiled us all. That's Amoebunnies. I think it looks pretty cool. That one ends on Thursday, the 21st as well. Next up is a very unique one. This one is a print and play. They are not sending you a game.
Oh.
They will just send you some PDFs, and then you can print the game yourself. And depending on the pledge you pledge at, you can, they'll also send you files to print a box. So you can print a box yourself, print the cards and the board and the little otters yourself. The only thing I think you need to supply are some dice, which you can get for like $2 on Amazon. I have like hundreds of extra dice for some reason.
Oh, I bet.
Have I ever used them? No. They also have, for characters, you can provide your own meeples, or they have printouts for these otters. And otters have to be double-sided because there's like two different modes your otter can be in. It's like swim mode or like relax with a buddy and go down the stream mode. And so they made this little box you can fold up. It's a pretty simple game. You're trying to like dive. I like the little animations they've added here. You move your otter around. You're trying to dive down and get different treasures out of the water. And when you do dive, you'll flip over the card you're on. And I think depending on either a die roll or what you chose before you started the dive, you'll either dive at like the shallow or the deep level and can get more points that way. And at the beginning of your turn, you roll a die and it will go in one of the three rivers. And at the end of that turn, that a wave will come there and kind of push that river along. And you're just trying to get the best stuff. Very cool and unique. I think it's fun when a company tries something kind of really unique, and that's what this is. For $8, you can get the files. Again, they're not shipping you anything. You're just getting all of the files to print it yourself. But they did say here in the campaign, they tried to keep it very simple. So all of the cuts are like straight lines. You're not doing anything crazy. So you can cut it with like a cutting machine. Or go to like a fancy printing place and have them cut it and laminate it or whatever for you. And then the pledge with the box is $13. And it comes with an exclusive collector's book, everything in the game, plus the files to fold your own box for everything and stretch goals. So that's Tide and Tangle, a pretty simple and light family game. And if you're a creative type, my 7-year-old really likes arts and crafts. Maybe I'll make a game with him. He would think that was really fun. So that's Tide and Tangle. That one ends on Sunday, the 24th. All right, Devin, is this the last one?
It is,
okay.
Yes.
This one is another... Devin, is this a complex game or an easy game?
I'd say based on the time, it's extremely complex.
Dang it, the time's there. The artwork makes it seem like it's kind of like Tide and Tangle, or like Amoebunnies that we just looked at. This game is called Sweetlands, and right after Sweetlands, it says : advanced strategy game to build a city of sweets. And it very much is that. 100 to 200 minutes. 200 minutes is 3.5 hours. Crazy. This game is from a company in Japan called, I'm going to mispronounce this, Uchibakoya, I think. And they have made a few games so far, and they're very well loved, but they're hard to get in America. I don't even think you can buy them right now. The two are Aqua Garden and Ostia. I've really wanted to get Ostia, but I can't find where to get it. This is their newest game, and I think this game is much heavier than even the other two.
There's a milk meeple.
Oh
my goodness.
There's milk.
Yes.
Rabbits. In this game, you're trying to become, I think, like the new mayor of the Sweetlands by proving that you can make sweet stuff like the most efficiently. There's quite a bit going on, so I'm not going to like even try to explain too much of it, but you have, there's a main board up here where there's tracks up here for end game scoring, and depending on how far you push your piece up there, then different things you do on your other boards could be worth points, like 3-1 or 1-1. The action board is over here, has different actions on it, and you have to discard a card from your hand in order to place a token there to take an action. But if someone's already taken that action, then you have to discard 2 cards in order to place a cube, or I mean a disc, in the second spot. So the actions get more expensive as people go. I think that's a cool system, to be honest.
I do too.
I like multi-use cards. That's always a fun interaction point in a game. You're like, ooh, I love this card, and I want to use it for something else later. But if I use it now to discard for this action or whatever, that might be better. So I like that. Then each player has 3 boards.
Wow.
They have this board here where you are tracking like different buildings that you have purchased. You have this milk track up here. Got these bunnies here, and then your character here. These are kind of cool. They are empty boards that have different character sheets that your board opens up. You put a character sheet inside and then put it back down. So it's double layered with a character sheet in the middle, and all the characters are different. So there's a lot going on there. Then you also have the city board where you're excavating different land, and then you have to build roads from like the base of your city out to these different ports. And if you don't finish the road to the port, I think it's like negative 40 points at the end of the game, which seems like a lot. So you definitely want to finish that. So there's a lot of different things to focus on in this game. Pretty big, heavy, lots of pieces. The board size looks like it would be the same size as Kanban or On Mars behind me, like big Lacerda game. I don't know that for sure. I don't know if they have the box dimensions on here, but it looks like a big, tall Eagle Griffin Games box to me. Let's see, what else is there in this game? Very cool pieces, like pretty premium looking. They've got cheese tents, brownie buildings, cream puff house tokens, locomotive tokens, lots of cool things. Here is that character sheet. You just set that inside before you put the other side down for the double layer character there. Cool idea. Hopefully that hinge will stay fine for a long time. I have a couple games that use that, and they seem to be just fine. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there's much else. It does have an upgrade pack where you can get even fancier meeples if you want them. Yeah, what size is this box? This box is very large, at 40 centimeters by 28 centimeters by 7 centimeters, and contains over 3 kilograms. That's like I think a kilogram is like 2.5 pounds. So you're at 7.5 pound box. That's a big game. $88, and which I don't think is terrible. I would maybe even hop in at that.
I thought it would be much more expensive, especially when I saw almost 500 pieces.
Yeah, there is a lot of pieces. The tricky part here for me, well, we'll get to that in a second. They also, here in this campaign, will let you add other games from their series. So here is Aqua Garden, like I mentioned. It's a much lighter game, but cool. Ocean pieces, supposed to be fun. And all the expansions to that. And then Ostia is the other one I've wanted. It also has a Moncala mechanism. You pick up pieces and then drop them along this kind of circular path. Man, even Ostia is expensive. 68 plus 43 for the expansion, plus 22 for both of those mini expansions. Whew, pricey. The other tricky part is these are coming from Japan, right? So shipping in Japan is not bad. 1,000 yen. I don't exactly know what that converts to be honest. But the problem is, and then that's also per 3.5 kilogram unit. So if you just order Sweetlands in America, that'd be $21.35 on top. If I order Sweetlands and Ostia, might be double that.
Wow.
So shipping is brutal on this one too. But these games are like impossible to get in America. So this one is tearing my heart out a little bit because I think it looks fun. I don't know who I'd play it with because it's a pretty heavy game and it's sometimes hard to get. But maybe with the art style, my wife, she might put up with that. But anyways, that is Sweetlands. Devin, that was 7 cool projects in my opinion this week. Tough decision. What's going to be your pick of the week? And then I'll try to type it in here quickly and pull it back up.
I mean, I think it's already on the screen.
Oh, Sweetlands.
I think I have to choose Sweetlands. If Sweetlands wasn't here, I'm going with Dice Throne, Outcasts all day.
Okay.
But I don't know. It just looks cool. I've never really played a game that's too complex.
Mhm.
I've played some complex games, but
You have.
I don't know the scale or the rating of this one. I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard to know before it's out. I think on Board Game Geek right now it's floating around a 4. But again, hard to know before it comes out. You've played Revive and some others that are, up in the high 3s, so I don't think this would be like much of a step up for you, but it definitely looks awesome.
It does, and they have a milk meeple. That's what sold me.
Devin likes the milk. Milk meeple
Sure do.
for the win. I am very torn on mine. Like you mentioned,
What's he going to pick?
This one would have been one of my choices.
That's too bad.
And Dice Throne Outcast would also be one of my choices. Dice Throne is one of my favorite games of all time. Love it. I think for this one, though, I'm going to go with the
triple.
The trilogy from Reiner Knizia. Give a shout out to the Utah company, Bitewing Games. They do cool stuff. And I think this is a cool looking trilogy. I don't know that I want all 3 of the games. I don't know. That is a tough one for me.
Orbit looks like that old TV show with the chameleon and the teacher and
the Magic School Bus?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it kind of does.
Right in the Magic Orbit.
Yeah, am I right in the Magic Orbit?
Yeah, just like that. Oh, I can see it. I think these look very cool. They're a bit pricier than some of Bitewing's other games, but they are bigger. Has some cool components. Like I really love that tractor beam meeple. Like so cool with the cow under it. Very cool. So yeah, that's gonna be my pick of the week from the Good Doctor and Bitewing Games: SILOS, Ego, and Orbit. Let me know what your pick of the week would have been for this week, November 15th, and that's going to do it for Crowdfunding Corner. Thank you so much for watching this video. As most of you know, gaming top-down is an independent endeavor. I don't accept money from publishers for previews or opinion-related content, but there are a few ways that you can support the channel and help me keep the lights on. Liking this video and subscribing to the channel helps me to grow. If you're thinking of getting a game that I covered in this video, please click the affiliate link in the description of this video. It helps to support me and doesn't add any cost to your purchase. I also do a weekly gaming podcast where I talk about the board games that I'm playing along with my brother. You can check that out on Apple's podcasts and on Spotify. And you can also get that podcast 3 days early over on our Patreon. You can follow the Patreon at patreon.com/supergamebrothers completely for free. But if you do support us over there, you get some extra perks like being able to write into the show, getting early access to the show, voting on the games that I'm going to cover and review, and lots of other fun stuff. Thanks so much for your support, for liking and commenting on my videos. You really are what helped keep the lights on for me. Thank you.